Pro Group Management. Workers' comp that works for you.
Welcome to Nevada Newsmakers. On the broadcast today, Greg Kidd joins us, now a Democratic candidate to CD2. Here for the whole show on all new Nevada Newsmakers.
The Nevada Builders Alliance has been protecting the interests of the construction industry for over 50 years. Our programs save members thousands of dollars every year and allow them to provide much-needed benefits to their employees. Our industry also allows Nevada to grow. If you're thinking about a career in the construction industry, reach out. And if you haven't thought of a career in construction, what are you waiting for? We are the Nevada Builders Alliance.
A power line is more than a power line. It's maintaining the bottom line for small businesses. It's keeping the assembly line moving for our workforce. For our brightest minds, it's meeting a deadline. It's on the front line with our heroes. And on the sidelines of the biggest games. It's a direct line to our loved ones. And it's a lifeline for the most vulnerable. There's a lot on the line.
The trucking industry is the most resilient link in the supply chain, moving 95% of our freight in the Silver State. And while essential, the road isn't always smooth. Supply chain disruptions, rising fuel costs, and unrealistic rules and laws that hamper our ability to serve our customers and country. Our prosperity and every sector of the economy, manufacturing, mining, medicine, and food from farm to table, is tied to trucks. There's nothing without trucking.
Pro Group Management offers workers' comp services to a growing number of industries. As businesses grow and change with the times, the need for a solid workers' comp program must be flexible and up to date. The evolving nature of regulations can make staying ahead of complex tasks challenging. But Pro Group Management simplifies the work so your industry can move forward and succeed. Pro Group Management. Workers' comp that works for you.
This is Nevada Newsmakers with host Sam Shad on No Holds Barred Political Forum. Now, from the Nevada Newsmakers broadcast headquarters, here is Sam Shad.
And back on Nevada Newsmakers, we're delighted to welcome back to the program Greg Kidd. He is once again a candidate for CD2, but this time a Democratic candidate versus being an independent candidate. Now, this is going to be the first time, presuming you have several appearances on the program, so we have lots of time to talk about things. Why the change from independent to Democrat?
Well, we tried nonpartisan, got a ways with that. Right now in our country, we don't really have two functioning parties, and so the Democratic Party has its challenges like every family, but the Republican Party right now has kind of moved away from where I am and is having a hard time operating as a party. And so getting things done, I'm looking to work with a party that can get that done in 2026.
Do you think it also says something, because the discussion has been for the last couple of years, and especially here in Nevada, that the independents have grown to be a larger group than the Republicans and Democrats. But I think a lot of that has been the way that they're registered at the DMV. And so I think one of the interesting things that's going to come out of this cycle is how many of these independents are actually Republicans or Democrats?
Interesting question. I mean, we did our own polling and it looks like they kind of split by the same as the registrations. And so we're going to treat them just as folks that come to vote and sometimes vote Democrat, sometimes vote Republican. We're going to basically put forth in this 2026 that the issues are, you really got to think what's good for Nevada, what's good for the country, and the D's and R's matter less now than they have in the past because of where the state is and where the country is.
Do you think that in the last cycle you would have won if you had been registered as a Democrat?
I don't think just changing that around. I mean, I'm new to the state, and so I'm paying my dues, and I'm back for this time. And we're in a very different situation in 2026 than 2024.
In what way? Elaborate on that.
Well, sure. I think you remember my motto before, which was free, fair, and wild. That was on the side of the truck I drove up. Today, it's free, fair, and safe. We got some wildness. It wasn't the wildness we were looking for. And so we're in a very different situation with the country and the state where we're facing huge affordability challenges challenges with the rule of law, and really challenges with accountability. And so we're in a situation where safety is now paramount. And so my campaign, still free and fair, but it's going to talk about safe.
All right, so let me ask you about that. In Reno and Las Vegas, I personally feel safe. I don't have any problems walking down the street. In Reno, I like any town, and especially the bigger town you get to, you need to be smart about where you go so that you're not in an unsafe area. I go to Washington, D.C. every year to interview the delegation. I know where a safe place is to stay. I've stayed in places that were right next door to the unsafe places. So when you talk about safe, what do you mean in terms of Nevada?
Well, I mean safe economically. So, we're in a situation now where prices are up. I think somebody said, well, we're going to raise prices with, not raise prices with tariffs, but I'm pretty sure when you raise prices, prices go up. So affordability has gone from bad to worse. And so I'm really talking about economic security and also just the rule of law. We're in a situation now where it's kind of a bully's world where you do what you can get away with and there's not a lot of accountability. And so situations like the new tax bill, the big, beautiful bill, well, one of those B's was right. It was big, but I'm not sure it was really beautiful. I mean, it was great for me, for my interests, but for the average guy on the street, if you look at what healthcare premiums are, if you look at the fact that cost inputs for all the goods we buy, both prices of the goods, but also labor, has gone through the roof. We've gone nowhere. We've gone backwards on affordability. And so in terms of economic safety, Nevada's gone backwards since 2024.
All of us, when we go to the grocery store, I presume you go to the grocery store as well. George Bush, the senior, didn't. Found out what a scanner was. But we've seen the cost of food go up dramatically. In my case, probably about 50% a week. But we also, during COVID, pumped an incredible amount of money into the economy. And you can't pump that amount of money into the economy without seeing at a certain point inflation. And then you're in this bizarre situation where, of course, you give things to people, and then when it's time for those to be retracted, everybody goes, no. That's where we are, which is that we're in a post-COVID world, and yet the public does not want any of the subsidies taken away on any level, especially in the medical field.
Sure. I mean, we went from one form of inflation to a new form based on tariffs. I don't think there's been any time in history where people layered in tariffs and didn't have an impact on both costs of goods, but also our tariffs have been not on enemy countries, they've been on allies. And so it's also reflected in the numbers being down significantly for our hospitality industry. Canadians, other folks just aren't coming. It's more expensive, but they also don't like being shamed. And we have a system where we're not just tariffing our enemies, we're tariffing our allies. And that is hurting in the pocketbook as well.
All right, so a whole bunch of things go into that. I would say to you that from the tourism point of view, that we, and I'll use a polite word because we're on public radio and television, that we irritated the Mexicans and the Canadians by the things that we were saying. And those people, especially the Canadians, have been horribly offended. And you look at the numbers in Las Vegas, and they are definitely down. And I'm sure that there is a reciprocal amount of downward trend in northern Nevada as well. On the other hand, you look at some of the economic data, and the tariffs have actually brought money in. Whether they're increasing manufacturing or not in this country is to be debated. But there is a positive flow of money from those tariffs. On the other hand, and I have 10 hands here apparently, as we both know, it's the public that pays. It's businesses that pay. It's not these foreign countries that pay, although they may not have a marketplace for their products.
Well, there is some tariff revenue, that is true, but it's a pittance compared to like the loss of economic activity. And if you want to just check how China's doing, their trade surpluses are through the roof.
Through the roof.
So we are helping China. So we're helping our competitor countries. And basically we've adopted a loser strategy. I think the U.S. and Nevada can win on the merits. But when you do this thing of basically pulling in tariffs, it's basically putting up the white flag. And it gives you a short-term sugar boost. But, long-term, for our state, for our country, for our kids, this is a loser strategy. And I just can't condone it.
All right. But this administration will be in business for 3 more years. At the end of that 3 years, there will be another president, there will be another administration, whether it be a Republican or Democrat, is up in the air. When you look at both parties, we can shoot holes in them. I mean, at this point, you have leading liberals in this country of a public nature, like Bill Maher and Jon Stewart, openly mocking the Democratic administration. I mean, or not administration, but leadership. And you certainly have plenty of people on the other side knocking the Republican leadership. So where do you see it going in 3 years?
Well, it's kind of tough. I mean, it'd be one thing to say, well, a new administration, you can change the policies. But potentially. But supply chains are gonna change right now. And they're gonna be hard to change back, because even though you can change the policies back, what America's demonstrating right now is a lack of reliability to our trading partners and our allies. And so they're just basically doing basic risk management and moving away from depending on us and integrating with us the way we have. If you talk to Republicans, I mean, the ones that really are real Republicans, they'll tell you behind the scenes that they're not happy with this move away from principles that Reagan established around free trade and working with our allies. But we're not in a situation right now where those Republicans can really speak up. Democrats, of course, are speaking up. I mean, they speak up on all different sides because Democrats are not that unified.
To say the least.
It's one of the things about the Democratic Party. It's colorful in many, many ways. But, the dialogue we're having in the U.S. right now, it isn't happening because there's one new chaos thing after another in the news, and we're not even really being able to fix one issue or address one issue before a new one is in the news cycle. So it is a very chaotic cycle. It's very tough to keep up, but I can tell you, bottom line for everyday Nevadans, you've seen what's happening with affordability, access, it's going backwards. It was already tough. Well, access to health care, access to affordable housing. So it's both the pricing and just levels of access. It's not a seat at the table situation.
All right. So with housing, of course, you're well aware, because you've been studying this at least for the last few years now, that the government owns so much of the land in Nevada, and releasing some of that land would allow, not all of it, because we couldn't afford to be able to maintain the amount of land that the BLM has in Nevada, but opening up some of that land would increase the ability of builders to build at an affordable price. But then again, you look at it, and even if you open up land, what are they going to build? They're going to build mid-level product. They're going to build high-level product. But are they going to be looking at affordable product? And is there such a thing with the cost of labor, with the cost of all the various things you need, lumber, et cetera, to be able to build affordable housing?
Well, look, there's 3 inputs. There's the land, there's the materials, and there's labor. All of those have gone in the wrong direction for Nevada. Obviously, the materials because of tariffs, labor because the immigration policies have made it impossible to have a guest workers program, and some of the best workers in Nevada for building come from the Latino community. But on land, we used to have a policy where all of our Congress people, whether D's or R's, worked together. Well, Mark broke ranks with that and was basically giving away our land, not for the benefit of Nevada, but to basically please people in DC. And we're not in a situation right now where our Congress people are working together to free up those pieces of land that would help with housing affordability. And so that's gone to the wayside as well. That's a sad thing that's happened in the last 2 years. It's part of the reason why Mark's likability or favorability has now dropped to, I think our poll shows down about 14%, was he was willing to kind of throw Nevada under the bus to basically win some points in DC.
Well, Congressman Amodei will be here next week, and I will let him review this tape.
Well, he can defend his record on
because I mean,
selling off that land.
Well, yeah, but there's another side of this, which is that I presume in his mind, and I won't speak for him, but I presume in his mind that he was thinking that he was helping the Southern Nevada delegation by doing what he was doing. Apparently, he found out very quickly that, Congresswoman Titus made it very clear that she didn't feel the same way. And the rest of the delegation, did the same thing. So, we'll leave. I don't represent Congressman Amadei, so we'll let him speak for himself on that.
And I guess it would help if you got the call a little bit rather than like the last hour late at night, right? That was kind of a midnight exercise. Caught everybody off ground, including members of his own party.
With so many things in Nevada, construction, medical, you can go through the list. We've never had enough people to do all the jobs that we need. And I moved here in 1978, just after the what was then the MGM, now the Grand Sierra, opened. And you had party lines for phones. There weren't enough apartments. The list went on of all the things we didn't have. We're back into a similar situation across Nevada, especially in the healthcare industry, where try and get an appointment with a dermatologist, you're looking 2 months out to have somebody look at your skin. God forbid that you're in some kind of horrible situation. We've always been in that situation. So what's the answer from you to say how we're going to increase those fields? And is it all based on immigration?
It's not based on immigration, but we do have programs to bring in folks like nurses and when we're short. But take nurses for an example. There used to be guest worker programs. We need those guest worker programs. That's the type of immigration reform we need. This isn't open borders. This is being very, very calculated about who you need, whether it's folks that have building skills or have medical skills. We should have those programs. Instead, we have Homeland Security and ICE, which did get a lot more money, but it's not like we're chasing down Al Qaeda. We're basically spending that money on troops on the ground in Minneapolis. It's not a great use of our resources. We need a rational immigration policy that basically makes the border secure, but gives us the labor we need.
Okay, let's take a break right here. Let's come back and we'll continue on immigration, one of my favorite topics, right after this timeout. We'll be right back.
Ring in the new year with newfound cash during the New Year Cash Extravaganza only at the Carson Valley Inn. Win up to $7,500 in giveaways every week. Then win big with $10,000 in cash and free play during the grand prize party January 31st. Start 2026 with a bang only at the Carson Valley Inn.
Like a traditional handmade basket, retail is woven into the fabric of life in Nevada. From big box to mom and pop, retail supports our communities in countless ways. Jobs for the disabled, team uniforms for kids, help for the elderly, and so much more. Retail employs over 1 in 10 workers. Retail supports Nevada, and we support retail.
RANNV.
As you know, Reno is booming. Toll's development company is helping it grow with insightful design and development, building community with every project, adding beauty, adding excitement, emphasizing our shared humanity. Reno is becoming bigger. Toll's development is helping it become better, more livable, more enjoyable. To learn more, go to tollsdevelopment.com. tollsdevelopment.com.
Welcome to the Ahern Boutique Hotel, where luxury and warmth come together in the heart of Las Vegas.
We take pride in offering a one-of-a-kind experience for both locals and tourists.
Join us for handcrafted cocktails and an unforgettable experience. Joel's Chop House, the perfect place to savor views of the Las Vegas Strip.
Satisfy your cravings at the Ahern Chocolate Shop.
No smoking, no resort fees, and the parking is always free. The Ahern Luxury Boutique Hotel is your home away from home.
This is Nevada Newsmakers.
And back on Nevada Newsmakers, we continue our conversation with Greg Kidd, now the Democratic candidate for CD2. Immigration. So the last time we saw major immigration reform in this country was 1986 when Reagan signed it. We've seen little bits and pieces since then, but nothing. The phrase has always been, we need comprehensive immigration reform. And I've always felt that it was just too explosive of a topic. Having watched what happened from 1977 through 1986 and all the things that blew up immigration, that do a piece at a time, get it done. All right, whether you like it or not, the president moved very quickly without Congress and essentially, not 100%, but essentially shut down the southern border. To my mind, fine, that's fixed. Congress, where the heck are you? It's your turn to jump in and figure out, how do we have a plan to allow, as you suggested, people to be able to come into this country to fill the jobs we need? And we have had many people on this program just furious at the fact that we're not picking on the worst and the most violent. We're picking on landscapers, day workers, and in Nevada, hospitality industry, farm industry, on and on. How do you get, and I'm not asking you specifically to want to do it, but just in the big picture, how do you get Congress to wake up and go, hey, half your problem's solved, now figure out the part we need, because we need population, because our population is going down, it's not going up, and our job needs are going through the roof.
I agree. I'm actually optimistic. In my particular sector, which is financial services, Democrats and Republicans have been working together. It's one of the really successful areas of this administration, and we just need to see that happen with immigration. I think there are members on the Republican Party and Democratic Party that see the value of a guest worker program. That's not comprehensive immigration reform.
No, I don't want comprehensive.
Yep.
We got half of it done.
Yep.
We don't need comprehensive.
Let's just focus on the pieces that we can we agree can get.
And I also don't think, and I would agree with Rand Paul on this, that these folks are looking for citizenship. They're looking for jobs. They're looking for a better way of life. That doesn't need to be a part of the conversation. Their children, if they're born in this country, would have the citizenship. But for the people coming from all over the world, I mean, no matter what barriers we put up, they're still going to come.
Couldn't agree more. The news cycle is so full of troops on the streets in places like Minneapolis that that conversation isn't happening. And I hope we get back over to getting practical immigration reform in exactly the way you just mentioned.
All right, let's take another break and we'll be right back.
Welcome to Story County, where history meets innovation, and a pioneering spirit continues to shape our future. At the heart of the Tahoe Reno Industrial Center, we power the future with global leaders in technology and manufacturing, driving progress that reaches far beyond our county lines. From advanced manufacturing to tech innovation, our industries are creating thousands of quality careers, fueling a vibrant economy that benefits every Nevadan. But it's more than just growth. Our community is our foundation, supporting families, empowering local initiatives, and creating a place where everyone belongs. Be part of a legacy built on bold ideas and boundless possibilities. Join us in building a brighter future right here in Story County. Story County, helping build Nevada's future.
The new year is bringing new ways to win big during the $175,000 Winter Wonderland giveaways at Tamarack Casino. Win up to $5,000 in cash every week and a top prize of $20,000 in cash during the grand finale drawing. Your good times are at Tamarack Casino.
Meet Nevada Health Link, Nevada's official health insurance marketplace. Your link to savings, selection, free assistance, and name brand health insurance, where 90% of enrollees lower the cost of their monthly premium. Everyone deserves access to quality health coverage, no matter your income or family size. Visit NevadaHealthLink.com. A few minutes could save you hundreds of dollars per month.
Nevada Health Link. Our plans are made for your plans.
This is Nevada Newsmakers.
And back on Nevada Newsmakers, we continue our conversation with Greg Kidd, now running as a Democrat, as a candidate for CD2. You have a primary, but then if you make it through the primary, you will be opposing Mark Amodei. So I'm watching 60 Minutes last Sunday night and watching the scenes from Minnesota. And whatever the reasoning, perception to me is reality. And it is for all the people watching. And even though there are 50% of the country plus voted for Donald Trump, and part of his stand was immigration, illegal immigration, but it seems like the pendulum, to me, obviously, has swung too far. In a minute and a half, what's the resolution in the short term?
Sure. It's like to get focused on the problem. There was a problem. There is a problem with illegal immigration. It's a law enforcement problem. It's not a military problem. So I think it's been a mistake to militarize the solution to that problem.
Well, ICE is not the military, though.
I know, but it's acting in a military capacity. If you look,
so are local police forces since Rodney King.
So are. And so that issue of conflating things that are law enforcement with the military is where things start to get out of whack. Even Donald Trump said last night, that this was tragedy. He's not suggesting that this is domestic terrorism anymore. But when people's expressing their free speech rights, sometimes not perfectly, results in this type of tragedy, we're on the wrong course. And so we just need to get back to law enforcement and not go down the route where we start to blur the lines between what's a military action and a domestic problem.
All right, and that's where we have to leave it for today. You are welcome to come back, and I'm presuming you'll be coming back many times, as will Congressman Amodei and the other candidates. We will continue to have them on the program as well. And good luck on the campaign trail.
Thanks for taking time today.
You're always welcome, and we'll be right back.
Each day, the Children's Advocacy Alliance partners with leaders, legislators, and families across Nevada to improve children's health, education, economic well-being, and safety. We recognize Nevada will be no better than the state of its children. Be a part of this change. Be a supporter of the Children's Advocacy Alliance. For more information, go to caanv.org.
Imagine a magical garden that feeds Carson City's hungry and homeless, teaches our high school students agriculture, creates hanging floral displays to beautify downtown, and yet charges nothing. It's not magic. It's the Greenhouse Project. It's real, it's growing, and it needs your help. Go online to carsоncitygreenhouse.org so together we can grow it forward.
You're in trouble with the law. It's easy to think you'll lose everything, but there is hope. I'm Attorney Orrin Johnson. Your first step is to hire a serious attorney with the experience to successfully navigate the legal system for you.
Sometimes hope means addiction treatment instead of jail, and making sure you're treated fairly.
Sometimes hope means fearless trial attorneys will stand up to the government when they get it wrong. Call or text Orrin Johnson Law.
We'll make a plan.
You'll take back your life.
Check out our archives section on NevadaNewsmakers.com. Great interviews going back as far as 2002. Really worth watching. We'll see you on the next program.